Well, it's been one of the two comments from Craig McRae post-game that everybody seized on, and I guess you can understand why. It was a remarkable game of footy right to the end. It was anyone's to win, and unfortunately for Steele, Sidebottom and his mates, Geelong had their nose in front of the final siren. And then that from the coach, and it's an open media day down at Collingwood, and we're absolutely stoked that Steele Sidebottom has got a couple of minutes for us on the show this afternoon. Mate, commiserations on the game Saturday. You live to fight another day, but what a hell of a game of footy it was. Thanks for joining us.
No worries, and I don't know if Tim was deliberately saying that, but he didn't pronounce my name right either time. He's probably obviously taken the mickey there. But
he thought, you know what? He thought he's been funny. That's what he's like, mate. Yeah. He actually thought he's being funny, and he was so far from being funny. It wasn't.
Well, I'm glad you boys didn't laugh. Anyway.
No, we're far too much respect for you. Hey, what did you make of the Cockers' comments after the game about the slumping on the ground and that all that stuff? What was your takeaway from that?
Well, I echo his comments as well. I think ever since Flyers arrived at the place at the start of pre-season, we've talked about acting like winners all the time. So whether it be doing run-throughs or whatever it is, we don't like guys sort of finishing a set or whatever it is and then laying on the ground. We want to stand proud, be proud of our efforts and move on to the next challenge, really. And I think that was what he was saying. So, I completely agree with his comments. And, that's what we've done too. We've come in here today and we've reviewed the game. We'll take the lessons from it. And I think that's a part of acting like winners as well.
In terms of meeting those challenges, Steele, it had a preliminary final feel about it on Saturday. Who knows? You might get to play in another one of those in a couple of weeks' time. But as a group, you keep meeting these key moments. Even though beaten, you must walk out of that one believing that you're very much still alive and have got a huge role to play in this finals campaign.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think coming back in here today, as you said, we obviously lost the game, but coming in here today and reviewing the game, there's so many positives that we'll take out of the game. At home yesterday, I sort of found myself feeling a bit, sorry for myself and a bit sooky, but you can't afford to do that for too long. So being able to get in here today, take the lessons from the Geelong game, and now we're presented with another great opportunity on Saturday night to, as you said, play off in we win this week where he got the chance to play off in a prelim. So, very optimistic and can't wait for the game to come, really.
G'day, Steele. It's Andrew Gaze here. And just Andy and I, at the start of the show, were reflecting back on the differences in the officiating during the finals. Now, I don't know whether it's just perceived because the intensity goes up with the players and what's at stake, but it seems like they put the whistle away a little bit and some of the interpretations are a little different. Now, I know you can't comment directly on any of the incidents that might have happened, but just in general, do you feel that the game is officiated differently in finals?
Well, potentially it looked like that a little bit on the weekend, but then I don't think that's a bad thing either. To be able to sort of let the play unfold. I mean, you don't want to be going into games where there's sort of pre ideas on how it's going to be, sort of umpired or whatever. We've got a set of rules that we need to follow. So, if there is going to be interpretations, it'd be nice to know before the game. But, I think that, the umpires do a great job because there's obviously a lot of rules out there that they've got to be on top of. But I guess if there was going to be, nice to know before the game, really.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, it might just be because, the untrained eye like mine is you're just thinking, well, maybe it's the intensity or whatever. But there is a train of thought that in finals that the general comment is let the players decide. And are you more in favour of that? If there's, those odd ones, those 50-50 ones that are there, just the referees suck it up and don't call them on those occasions? Or are you more a stickler for, hey, if there's an an infringement, it should be recalled regardless of the circumstances.
No, I'm more let it go, I think. But, as I said, I think if there is that's going to happen, I think, players need to be aware of it because it's going to catch guys off guard and potentially shift your focus to probably places where it doesn't need to be. So, I'm all for letting the play out for sure.
Nearly 300 games into your career, Steele, and you played a lot of finals footy. We understand, players are getting fitter and stronger and the game's speeding up every single year. The intensity out there and the time with ball in hand on Saturday, is it getting harder and faster? And are you finding, even this deep into your career, there's less time for you when you've got the footy in your hand?
Yeah, definitely. And I think on the weekend was that first quarter was off the charts. I feel like the pressure from both teams was huge, and it probably looked a bit scrappy there at times, but because there was so much heat on, players, getting a hand in or whatever it was, a fingernail. There was so much pressure, and then I think as the game goes on, it might die off a bit. But because it has been so hot, you're almost expecting a tackle, half a second earlier or whatever it is. So, it was definitely very hot, and clearly one of the hottest ones I've played in for a while.
And I don't want to get you individualise about your teammates, but the kid is because of what you just said, he's kind of the appreciation we have for him intensifies even more after a game like that. Nick Dacos's ability to stay calm, particularly late in the game when it was frantic. Have you seen a young player? I mean, you had a bit of this when you came into the game. Have you seen many young players come into footy and have the poise that he has?
No, definitely haven't. And I think not only with the footy, as you said, he doesn't get flustered. It's almost like he doesn't feel the pressure at times, and he expects the pressure when it is coming. But he's a cool head, and he's a leader back there as well. It's his first year of footy, but he's got just as much input in meetings and discussions as what anyone does. So everyone kind of sees, the nice stuff when he's kicking and mark and all that kind of thing. But, it's the things that he does sort of setting up and those other things that, people don't see. So to echo, what you're saying, I think, I haven't seen someone come in and do what he's done. But, I'm pretty sure there's still a lot more to go too.
That is phenomenal.
Hey, and when I'm watching the game, particularly over the last half of the season, and what's happened to another one of your teammates in Jack Ginnivan, it seems to me that he's not getting the benefit of the doubt under any circumstances. Do you guys? Is he? Woe is me. How is he dealing with those circumstances, and how do you guys help him and coach him through what seems to be a tough period where he's just not getting the benefit of the doubt?
I think Jack probably does find it tough at times, but sort of like anything really, there was almost a tweak in the rule, I think, because of the actions or whatever it is. So I think it's like coaches. Like coaches come in and they're that smart. Whatever rules in place, they come up with these ideas or whatever it is to almost make them introduce more rules. And I think that's sort of what happens when there's almost like little loopholes or whatever it is, and sort of people are taking advantage a little bit of it. Then that's where they step in. So. Like everyone, we've just got to be able to adapt to whatever's thrown at us, and I think Jack's no different. But I'd love to see Jack get a few more free kicks, no doubt. But that's something that he's dealing with at the moment, and he'll keep learning and keep developing. And let's hope Saturday night maybe he gets a few more.
Hey, Steele, the other thing is too, with the opportunity that you guys to have on and the impact that you can have on the community in a variety of different ways, it's been well documented. There's a lot of things you can do, but what you guys did for that little girl with cerebral palsy at the start of the game, it seemed so genuine and really made it special for her, and it almost seemed like it was special for you guys. We get so caught up in the intensity and you guys preparing, but to start the game and what you did with her running through the banner was absolutely fantastic, I thought.
Yeah, it was. And little Lee, I've seen plenty of her over the last few years, and she's been at the club a few times before. But it also makes me appreciate the position that I'm in, and for us to be able to do that. And I haven't spoken to her or her parents after the game, but there's no doubt that she loves what she did with us on Saturday night, and even more so, we love having her run out there with us. So, you sort of don't appreciate those kind of things as much as you probably should. But for us to be able to touch someone's life like that, and I've actually had quite a few comments after it. So it's nice to be able to, as I said, make a difference for someone who perhaps is going through a tough time or whatever might be happening. It's amazing, what sort of small gestures and whatever it might be can really brighten someone's day up.
Well done.
See, I don't like this. There's something that we got to stop in the tracks here. You got Craig McRae. He's warming the hearts of non-Collingwood supporters. We're starting to like Craig McRae, and therefore, as an extension, the Collingwood Footy Club. Then Steele Sidebottom comes on and talks about the girl with the cerebral palsy. We like Steele Sidebottom. We like what the team are doing. Taylor Adams, after the game, Steele talks about the young girl and the family on his way back to the AIA. He's got his groin ripped off the bone. If anyone can feel sorry for themselves, it's Taylor Adams right now. And yet he puts out the call on Twitter, can anybody help me? I want to find this family, presumably to thank them for their show of support and compassion. And now Taylor Adams is a hard nut who bashes into our players when we're playing against you blokes, and we like Taylor Adams now. I mean, what is going on here? This is not Collingwood.
You must be hating seeing this.
Oh, mate, after what you did to me 2 weeks ago, you and your teammates, is horrible. And we often talk about the community and the reach that we can have as footballers. So clearly we want to be the best footballers we can, but the way we carry ourselves as well is just as important. So it's nice to have plenty of support, whether they are wearing the Magpies jumper or not. Is this... We'll let you go. We know you got other things to do. Just last one. I mean, we do get to spend a bit of time with Craig in here every fortnight, and he talks about that. Be proud of the jumper, represent the jumper. He talks about that a lot. We want to make the people that come into the footy club better people by the time they leave, not just better footballers. And I'm sure everybody that's been there before Craig has, had the same ambition. But has this very much been something that McRae and this new coaching staff and footy department you're working with, this has been very much something that has been a stress point for them?
Yeah, definitely. And I think and when people come into our environment as well, we want people to walk out of here and say, how good was the Collingwood boys?
Yeah.
They did this for me, they did that. We want people to be able to come in, have a great experience and spread that message. And whenever we're on show, we're on show all the time because we're Collingwood footballers. So the way we carry ourselves on and off the field, we want people to be talking, nice things. And, as you sort of mentioned, since Fly's come on board, that's been his message. We want to be good footballers, but we also want to be good people as well.
On you, mate.
And just before we let you go, have you got any updates on some of your injury fronts, in particular, Geordie De Goey, with what's happened with his shoulder? How's he looking?
Yeah, Geordie be right. He's tough as nails. I think a little bit of a stinger maybe, but I'm confident Geordie be right to go. He was in here today, so he'll be good to go.
Have you ever heard the G louder than when he kicked that goal? It was just something that stuck out to me, but gee whiz, that was some noise being generated.
It was, and let's hope there's might not be as many there this Saturday, but let's hope the noise can be just as loud.
Oh, no, you can't get tickets. We've already had a few people call up and said they're struggling to get tickets, so it should be full.
Good luck, mate. We appreciate you joining us on the show.
Yes.
All the very best against the Dockers Saturday night.
No worries. Thanks, guys.
You're a good man.
Good man, Steele.
Steele Sidebottom.